Today we're going to learn how a better design can help you sell better. I'm also going to share practical tips that can help you as a business owner improve your website's design. Okay, so picture this for a second. It's the beginning of summer, you're looking for a lawn mowing professional to come in and cut your grass for the year. You go on Google and you search for lawn mowing services near me. You open up the first two websites that you see. Let's take a look at the websites. This is website number 1. This is website number 2. So now that we've looked at both of them, which one, just based on first impression, would you choose as your lawn mowing professional? Now, if you're like most people, you probably picked the second website. But why? The websites are the exact same. They're the same content, the same images, the same headlines, the same navigation. Everything's the same, except for one thing. The design is different. The design of the second one is clearly better. But why is that? We'll get into that in just a second, but if there's anyone who's a little skeptical and saying, I wouldn't make my decision based on first impression, I would use logic. However, statistics show that emotion is actually what drives action and not logic. We use logic to justify our emotional decisions. Okay, so let's look at 2 more websites here. Here's the scenario. You are a college student, young in your career, and your dream job is to work for the CIA as an agent. You go on Google, you search for CIA, you open up the website. This is what you see. Okay, so take the same scenario, you go on Google, you search for the CIA, you open up the website, and this is what you see. Which one of these do you think is more likely to convert that college student into a CIA operative? Of course, the second website. But why? It's the same thing. The design of the second one is just clearly better. Now, I should say that the content is different. The images are different, the headline, the text is different. However, I truly believe if all of that was the same and the only thing that was different was the design, I still think the second website would convert better. But why is that? That leads us to the question, what does design actually do? What does it do? It's very subjective. It can be very difficult sometimes to say this web design is good and this web design is bad. It's difficult to say that because there's nothing to base that off of. So let's look at 3 things that web design definitively does do. Number 1, design can help you build trust with your customers. We just looked at 2 examples. We compared the websites, and the one that we picked, or the one at least that I picked, was the one that had the better design. And again, like I said, that's subjective. Different people have different ideas of what a good design is, but whatever that is, we're looking for the better design, and we're using that in our decision to decide whether or not we're going to hire a company. Number 2, it can help you differentiate your business from other companies. There's a lot of websites out there that act and look very, very similar. Trust me, I am looking at websites all day, every day. This is what I do for a living. There are so many copycat websites. Why is that? Well, there's probably a lot of agencies out there using the same designs and copying off of each other. There's also templates that are being used that look very, very similar. Whatever the case, there's a lot of carbon copy websites, and if you are one of those, you are not going to stick out when people come to your website. Let's take a plumbing website, for example. If you are a plumber and you have a website that looks like everybody else's, why would they want to hire you? What if we made that website a little bit different? We changed the colors, we added some cool fonts, we made the layout better, we added emotional images. All of these things can play together to help you stand out and look different from other companies. No, it's not going to automatically get people to hire you. However, it's going to improve your chances of them converting into leads. Number 3, your website's design can help emphasize different things. Now, some people might say that your design tells your story. I would actually disagree with that. Your content tells the story, the images and the text on the page. Those are what tell the story. The design is what helps morphs it and tells it in a different manner and shares it with your customers in different ways. It can help emphasize different things. It can help make images bigger, images smaller. If you have 3 different pieces of text, you have a subtext, you have a header, and then you have some text below that, and all of them are the exact same size, people don't know what to look at first, and if it confuses them, they're going to leave right away. So you need to make one of them bigger and then the other two smaller, maybe make one a different color, but they also have to look nice. So all of these different things play together in making a good design. Okay, so right here is when most design talks and presentations would end. That is not my goal. My goal is not to just share with you some ambiguous design theory and then leave you hanging. I want to give you practical things you as a business owner can do to help improve your design, even if you're not very good at design. The first thing that you can do is you can ask other people. Tell them to go to your website. Say, hey, what do you think about my website? Is it easy to use? Does it make sense? Is it easy to use on a mobile device? Would you hire me if you saw my website out in the wild? Now, do not go to friends and family with this. They will not give you honest feedback. Trust me, I'm in the business. I do this for a living. They will not give you honest feedback because they don't want to offend you. Maybe they know you built the website yourself, or you just paid $10,000 to build the website. And if they give you negative feedback, you might feel bad. It might hurt your relationship. And even if you tell them to give honest feedback, they'll probably still hold back a little bit. Trust me, I have experienced this. You need to find people, either your customers or random people off the street, to tell you honest feedback. There are even tools that you can use to hire people to come onto your website. They'll screen record what they're seeing, and they're going to tell you, hey, I like this on your website, but I don't like this. This makes sense, but this really doesn't. These types of things can be super beneficial for your business's website to help weed out the bad and help improve for future. The number 2 thing you can do right now is track performance. Let's say, for example, you're averaging 25 leads through your website a month. You make a design change or you go through a redesign, and after that, for the next 6 months, you're averaging 5 leads a month. Chances are that your design tweaks messed with something. You need to either revert back or figure out what's causing the issues. Tracking performance is super important. You can even do A/B testing to test out different designs, or you can use heat maps to tell where people are clicking on your website and how far they're scrolling down. You can even use free tools like Google Analytics and Google Search Console to help tell how users are interacting and how design changes are changing the analytics and the performance of your website. Now, I need to say one thing that might be hurtful to some people. You cannot trust yourself to give yourself unbiased feedback on your website, especially if you paid for it or if you built it yourself. It is so difficult to give yourself honest feedback that I never recommend anyone does it. I build websites for a living and I have a difficult time doing this. I have third parties coming on and looking over my websites, telling me, hey, this looks good, this doesn't. You need to be looking to other people to give you honest feedback. Do not ask yourself because you cannot trust yourself. Okay, so I want to make sure this sticks with you, so we're going to briefly recap everything we've gone over. The 3 things that design does is, number 1, it helps you build trust with your customers. Number 2 is it can help you differentiate yourself from other companies in your industry and help you stand out. Number 3, it can help emphasize different things. Different texts can be bigger, different text can be smaller, images can be bigger, different colors can be used. It helps you emphasize and helps you morph your story in different ways. 2 things that you can do. Number 1 is ask other people for their opinion, especially unbiased sources. Number 2 is you can track performance when you do make design changes. Okay, so if you've gone through these tests and you've decided that you need some design changes on your website, if you are not good at design, I recommend you find someone who you can trust who can help guide you along for the process, whether it's small design changes or a major redesign. I do this for a living. You can always reach out to me, but whether you reach out to me or someone else, I'd recommend you find a professional who you can trust rather than going to Upwork or Fiverr or one of the cheaper options, because those can come with a lot of risk and they are oftentimes hit or miss. All right, thank you for joining me. I hope to see you in the next one.